edition of the Technical Mass. I'm your host, Sean Donahue. And in this short broadcast today, we're going to look at the end of life for Windows XP. Microsoft has announced that on April 8th, 2014, they'll end life for Windows XP. On this episode, we'd like to cover some of the fundamentals of that. What does that really mean to you, the enterprise organization, who hasn't gone from Windows XP to Windows 7 yet? And will you be ready when we go from Windows 7 to Windows 9? These are the questions we want to tackle today. In this short series, we'll cover those fundamentals. So let's look at this. So what does it really mean when Microsoft announces the end of life for Windows XP? What are the when, the where, and the whats of this story? Well, the when is April 8th, 2014. Microsoft has announced that they will no longer, and this is the what's, they will no longer offer service packs for Windows XP. There will be no more hotfixes for Windows XP, and there will be no more support for Windows XP. That means if you continue to run Windows XP after April 8th, 2014, you do it at your own risk because they're not going to support you. And the where, if we believe some of the reports that have been coming out lately, the where means that 50% of enterprise organizations have yet to upgrade from Windows XP to Windows 7. Windows 8? I'm not sure how many people are going to go to Windows 8. But the fact is 50% of enterprise organizations haven't done it yet. And assuming, because you're watching this video series on the end of life for Windows XP, you may be one of those yourself. So what we want to look at is why aren't organizations using Windows XP? And the question is to upgrade or not to upgrade. And I like to look at this, what's the risk and what's the cost of not upgrading? Well, if you think about it this way, because Microsoft is not going to issue any more service packs, hotfixes, or roll-ups, or conventional support, you are vulnerable to malware, to viruses, and you are going to become, and I don't mean to be alarmist on this, but enterprise organizations that don't upgrade from Windows XP to Windows 7 will become soft targets for these hackers, these black hat hackers that are actually saving their viruses and malware for after April 8th, 2014 because they know they can get away with it. Well, heck, as of the day of this recording, we know that there are 25 network vulnerabilities with Windows XP, and Microsoft is still supporting it. Amen? So what's your option here? Well, Microsoft is offering its customers that they can pay for extended support of Windows XP. This means, and if we believe the article that was published on Computer World that was reposted by Gabe Knuth on BrianMadden.com, this means that Microsoft will offer extended support for $1 million for 5,000 desktops. So if you have 5,000 desktops, it's $1 million in extended support. That's some serious money. And if we look at what Microsoft has done historically, we know that the rolling 3-year support agreements double in year 2. We look at this by Windows 2000, what happened with the end of life for Windows 2000 when they did that. And they doubled the support contracts after the first year into the second year. To me, this is like carrying a high interest rate credit card when you could pay down that debt and get rid of it. And that's what I encourage organizations to do. Look at the blockers that you have and why you're not going from Windows XP to Windows 7 and ask yourself, can I accelerate that? Can I remove those blockers and get off Windows XP before the deadline and not pay these extended contract supports? Like I say with this episode and every episode of the Technical Mass, like it, link it, pin it, tweet it. It's up to us to spread the word. Follow me on Twitter. Email me with any questions. Visit ariasoftware.com to learn about technologies that will get you off of Windows XP and onto Windows 7 and ready for Windows 9. And on the next edition of the Technical Mass, we will cover the reasons that companies don't migrate. What are those blockers and more importantly, how to remove them. This has been The Technical Mass. I'm Sean Donahue. Thank you for listening.